Okay, if you've chosen the strong finisher section, you're either an age group endurance athlete who's training for an event, something like a triathlon or a cycling, hiking, climbing, running type event, and you want to finish strong. Or you may be involved with a sport where endurance is a key component to it, and you want to evaluate your endurance fitness or performance, endurance performance. So either way, the central focus of the testing here is what we call the cardiometabolic profile, and it is a fairly short endurance test. It's what we call a ramping protocol, either on a bike or a treadmill, and we're going to evaluate certain metabolic and cardiovascular and respiratory responses along the way. So specifically, you're looking at three systems here: the ventilatory, how you move that air in and out through the lungs, how we pump it with the heart through the vasculature, and then how the muscle is able to take that oxygen from the blood and utilize it in the muscle. So all these systems are evaluated when we're able to hook up you to a metabolic analyzer during testing. So you're going to be hooked up to a mask, about a 10 to 15 minute protocol, either on the bike or the treadmill. From that, not only are we able to identify where your capacity is, your aerobic capacity, but we're also looking for thresholds. So we're looking at these ventilatory thresholds with this particular test, and there are really changes in the way that you're breathing and blowing off CO2. So when we're looking at certain trend changes along the way in that ramping test, we're going to be able to identify certain domains. So these are all based off of these thresholds. So the first, what we call the first ventilatory threshold, and is often referred to as the aerobic threshold, is where your fat utilization is highest, and we can build that zone 2 around it. And then the second ventilatory threshold is where that, often referred to as the anaerobic threshold, is where we see fatigue really start to accumulate. So this is a benchmark of how well you're able to fight off fatigue before it becomes a real limiter in your performance there. And then your capacity is looking at how, at the top end, when you can't go any further, how much oxygen are you able to consume. So it really evaluates all the systems there to see what kind of potential you have and where you're at right now. So this test is real important if you want to get dialed into your own individual training parameters, your zones. It's also going to give us some indication of limiters to your training right now and what you want to focus in on. Probably most importantly is this test is going to be a good education of what you need to work on and how you want to connect your training, heart rates, and power outputs to these different domains so that you're following the right prescriptions in some of your training plans. So to get set up for the testing, you can either schedule right now online, so you can book it here in this section, or if you have a gift certificate or some kind of a discount code and you want to use it later but use the code now, you can actually buy a gift certificate here and then use it later. So you got those two options, and in this section you're going to see the cardiometabolic profile. You also have an option to add on the resting energy expenditure test if you want to evaluate your caloric need at rest. And then there's reevaluations in here too. So when you go through this test for the first time, every time thereafter you get a discounted rate for the follow-up reevaluation. So let me know if you have any questions on this. And by the way, you can click here at the bottom and get more information on how to prepare for the testing. So if you are going to schedule it, you'll know what you'll need to do prior to that. But again, if you need any more information or you have questions, feel free to email us. And we hope to see you in the lab.